Okay. Well, I was gonna shift this onto the Zoom so we could have a talk, a conversation, but I cannot start both of those at the same time. And it looks like everyone's on here, or people are joining here. So we're gonna wing it and just do in here, and then hopefully people figure it out. Okay, can someone say hello just so I can make sure the chat is working? And hello, hello. Is it working? Hey, all right. TA, who's that? Welcome. Okay, cool. The chat is live. So, welcome to day two of Spellcrafter. Yeah, yesterday I realized after the first call that the way that I am really been enjoying working with people has been more conversational style. So creating spaces for people to voice out loud what is on their heart, their minds, specifically around the prompts we were working with Spellcrafter. And also, I've been doing a lot more of the WhatsApp stuff, communities with especially Protocol 8 and then and so it is and the last activations that we had, which I'm really enjoying. So yesterday after I got off the call, I was like, I think I want to do this conversational style on a Zoom. And I attempted to send an email out to say, hey, we're going to meet on Zoom. And maybe some people are on there right now, but I did not think of the logistics of that. So I apologize, but we're here. I would love to attempt a conversation with a Zoom webinar because we do have a chat so we can get the ball going in that regards. And today I want to make this conversation really an exploration for you to understand how to turn these parts of yourself that you think are a problem that need to be you need to heal yourself from or whatever you're telling yourself. What I want to show you as Spellcrafter is that actually those parts of yourself are big money makers. And if when you learn how to work with these parts of yourself, you will unlock a lot of creative energy. And actually, you can use this as a way to create magnetism and to really connect with your audience or whoever that you're working with out there. Here's the truth of the matter. We are in an oversaturation economy. Everyone is a content creator. Attention is the ultimate currency of our reality. Where our focus goes, energy flows. Everyone's wanting to be a coach or everyone's shifting into the digital product space because it is a good place to be in. It makes a lot of sense. There's growth in this area. The traditional education systems are being disrupted. How we're consuming content is changing drastically. And so there's a lot of opportunities here, but this means there's also a lot of players on the scene. There's a lot of noise. There's a lot of competition. There's just a lot. So why is someone going to buy from you versus somebody else? Let's say, for example, you sell life, what am I trying to say? Lifestyle coaching, life coaching. Let's say you are a life coach. You help people to improve their marriages and find happiness in life. Okay. There's so many life coaches out there, and of all kinds of different races and genders all across the world. Why is someone going to choose you over someone else who possibly has way more credentials? Now, I'm not going to lie and say there's like one factor here that will determine why someone buys from you, but a big part of that is your story and who you are and your experiences and what you're dealing with internally, what your nervous system is encountering, and the contrast within that experience, which is nothing an AI can write or replace. That is a huge point of difference that will make people say, this person gets me because XYZ, they have this, that they can relate to me here. But it's really funny because a lot of the times when we go to show up online or build a brand or a business, whatever it is, grow our visibility, we sort of approach it more as this performance management. Like, how do I need to look? What do I need to put out there? What do I need to say in order for people to get to respond, to engage, to like me? Now, yesterday I asked you to identify the essentially the wound, the shadow, the sensation in your body, and then see if you can identify what this was protecting you from. The urge to do performance marketing, where you're managing the way that you're putting yourself out there, that you're appearing on social media. When you really sit with that and the tension point of that, where maybe you're overthinking content, or maybe you put something up and then you're like, I don't, wait, is this me? I'm not sure. You're deleting, you're all over the show with it. Maybe you're putting a price on your offer and then you're wobbling on that price on the back of it. You're like, I don't know, will people be able to afford it? Was it too much? Is it too little? Is it, I don't know. And now it's all confusion. When we ask ourselves, like, how is this serving us? How could it be serving me that I am confused about my pricing? How could it be serving me that I am procrastinating posting online? How could it be serving me that I am um, second guessing myself when I show up online? I'm comparing myself. How could this be serving me? And I'm not asking this in a, how is this serving me? Oh, well, long term, this is what leads to this. And then, yes, the serendipity of the butterfly effect, everything is always working in your favor. Obviously, this is the coding program we're working with for everything that we do. It's an assumption that everything is serving you. But I mean this more directly, more literally, as in how is it protecting you from experiencing something that your body, your nervous system, your subconscious has deemed as too dangerous for your safety to experience. And when we get to the root of this and we start to identify that, what you will often see is that the behaviors where you are deleting things or you're overthinking showing up on social media is ultimately protecting you from a sensation of being rejected, of showing up, putting yourself out there, putting your heart on the line, and then crickets. People don't react, they don't respond, they don't like it, or they don't even react. What a gut-wrenching place to be. So, in a way, better to be invisible, right? Better to not post at all. Better for me to reject myself, because then if I'm rejecting myself, I don't have to face this really dark place of like, I put myself out there and yet people didn't like it. Rejection, abandonment, unworthiness, the behaviors and the actions, confusion is a protection mechanism. Confusion is protecting you from experiencing um, the full force of your power and then the potential danger that that means for you. to be somebody that potentially stands out or does not belong or gets judged or misunderstood or rejected or abandoned. So we do these things to ourselves first and foremost because it's easier to swallow than to face this sensation that we have stored somewhere in our body and said, this is really, really dangerous. So as you sit with these questions, more clarity might come through as to what it could be protecting you from, but it's likely going to be a really intense sensation like grief or loss or abandonment or unworthiness. Now, I don't want us to spend the next 3 days in Spellcrafters or the next 2 days like dwelling too much on what happened to you when you were a kid and um, why it's good to have this information and to understand what lies beneath the surface and why certain things are happening to you. For example, I have had unworthiness for much of my life, like a lot of entrepreneurs, many ambitious people. That is it's the wound of insecurity and unworthiness driving the boat. So it can make you a lot of money, actually, the shadow. And I always had this, I was able to unlock new layers of life where I was able to receive and feel worthy and sustain and hold that and just establish a new sense of worth at this level of the game. But then as I was growing and evolving as a human and encountering different things and different parts of myself being reflected in my relationships, one thing that I never really unlocked is that I am worthy of both love and the money at the same time. For a long time, I thought that money came at the cost of love or vice versa. So I had figured out how to feel worthy for love or how to feel worthy for success, but then I'd never had an experience where I felt like I had both and they were both sustained and they were both doing well concurrently at the same time, which is not entirely true. Like I have had experience of that actually, but I had this story, underlying story that I picked up when I was a young girl that you're not worthy. You don't deserve to have good things. And so I found myself in a relationship where where maybe I tolerated things that I would not have tolerated had I not had that running. Had this story, this shadow not been running the show. And so if you are used to believing that you are deserving of a certain level of happiness or that you succeed the most on the edge, this was something I kept telling myself. So a lot of you in here, you're telling yourself things like, I always figure things out. No matter how hard things get, I always figure things out. And that's actually beautiful. It's great and it should be celebrated, but it's almost shared as a prideful thing. Like, look what I do. And so you've learned a pattern where you figure things out on an edge that you need to earn your rest. You need to earn being able to feel good. You need to earn these things. And so as you start to move towards growing your visibility, these parts of yourself that have been quietly under the surface running the show are going to bubble up to the surface and they're going to invite you to look at them. And how are they going to invite you to do that? By bubbling up in your reality. So we want to make sure we're aware, we have the information, where are we going, what do we desire, what's under the surface. Okay, well, I think I'm protecting myself from feeling rejection. I think I'm protecting myself from feeling abandonment or a sense of unworthiness. It's healthy, it's helpful to know all this stuff, but we also don't want to get stuck in the information gathering stage where we're forever just trying to look at all the things that are I'm trying to really do my best here to make sure that you're not seeing this as like it's a problem, even though we're calling it a shadow. It is your advantage. And we want to move this from knowledge to actually leveraging it in our lives and in our marketing and in our sales, which is exactly what your shadows can do. Because in business and in life, like attracts like. We have entanglement with all things in our lives. And so if you are feeling, huh, I things get taken away from me. If you have a wound or a part of you that is afraid to have more things because they get taken away from you, the chances are that your ideal customer, while it may not be in the specific context of your own experience, where they had a family member or bully or whatever, uh, make them believe such a thing, will hold, chances are that they will hold a very high affinity to that resonance. They will understand it well. Maybe they don't have affinity to it, but they understand and they can relate to the sensation of I want to get things, but I'm scared that they're going to be taken away. I want to have love, but I don't believe it can come with money at the same time. I want to be able to post on social media and or maybe one of your wounds was somebody started talking to you on Reddit or online, maybe tried to cancel you or whatever. And so your ideal customer is also somebody who's had a witch hunt after them. But these parts of ourselves, it's funny because what we do is we actually say, this is a problem. It's not allowed to exist. It must be gone. Be gone. Be gone from my life. And in the taking that stance with it, naturally what happens is we suppress or hide these parts of ourselves. We create shame around it. It becomes its own like shame circle. We're afraid, or we're telling ourselves this is a reason why we can't succeed. This is the reason, this is this is the thing in the way. And what I want you to understand from Spellcrafter is that actually this is your portal. It's not in the way, it's your portal. It's not your enemy, it's your ally. You're stepping into a new level of the game and you want to work with these shadows, not against them. And working against them is a big reason why so many people stay stuck in the level that they are at. Okay. So we want to take this into from knowing into the next step, which is the experiencing place where we begin to actually work with this part of ourselves in tandem. Now, I want to tell you guys a little bit of a story and what happened leading up to this workshop, which I kind of alluded to in the email. Um, but it's been kind of a wild sort of thing, and I also was not going to talk about it. I was like, this is not good. I should not be talking about this. I should hide this part of myself. And then I realized, well, that's quite ironic as I'm going into a workshop telling you guys not to hide these things, that I am having that. And so it was sort of a blind spot. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about what's been happening. And I'm going to share this with you guys because I want you to see what it looks like when this starts playing out for you, okay? As you start to do this work. So, um, maybe 3 weeks ago, I would say like 3, 4 weeks ago, I started to get really locked into I'm going to grow the visibility of my brand. And I knew Spellcrafter was coming up. I always knew I was going to do it in June. And I realized maybe 3, 4 weeks ago, I'm going to do it about visibility because this is what I'm going to work on right now to go to the next level with my brand. And I started to really do the work around integrating, looking at these parts of myself that have created meaning. Like you can't have the money and the love at the same time. Parts of myself that created meaning around You're too confused to have a big brand. You don't know what your niche is. You're all over the place. Parts of myself that were telling myself like it's not good to make people unhappy. And it's not good that some people don't like you. Everyone should like you. It sounds stupid saying it out loud, but this is literally like programming that has been running my life. Because I never really had I got attention as a young child through rebelling and then doing very provocative things. And I was a very provocative young woman as well. And I look back on that and a lot of the humor and the provocativeness and all of this, yes, there's an element to me that is very um, I guess, sexual in nature or has that energy. But a lot of it was the wounded side of me. Like, please like me. Please, if I'm just the chill girl, the guys will like me, you know? Please just choose me. Please choose me. And then I came into a lot of success in business. And with that came things that I was not prepared to deal with emotionally. And part of that was people betraying me. There was a lawsuit. There was people taking my courses, swiping it, fake accounts coming left and right, people talking about me online, people copying what I'm doing, ripping everything off that I'm doing. Um, and all of that was directly attacking this part of me that really fucking needed approval from other people. A way that I had moved through this life for most of my life, which was I'm not a really good person, but if I can keep people's attentions on me, whether through rebelling or being provocative or funny, then I'll survive. I'll be fine. And so it kind of became a lifeblood in many ways. This validation, this sense of like people like me, this applause, the visibility. But visibility, all things in life have shadows. All fucking things in life have a duality, and visibility is no exception. And the shadow part of that was not something I could handle within. It went directly, it triggered, it hyper triggered this part of me that is was so protective of me experiencing rejection of my authentic self, like who I am, rejection, abandonment, people not choosing me. And this was not conscious at the time. It wasn't like I was sitting there going, "Oh, this is what's happening in my life right now." It was a very confusing time because the way it sort of all came down, it was all these things all at once. I definitely did not have this level of clarity. But in hindsight, what's happening now, I can see as a lot more clarity than I did that time around in my life. Okay. So basically, I was set to make nine figures from that business. It was just, we could have gone really big with that. Easy. And what was happening was I was being initiated into micro moments of teaching myself how to feel safe in the face of rejection and abandonment. How was I teaching myself this? By inviting Bowsers in my life. Bowser, litigation, people betraying me, ripping off my courses. These were all little Bowsers. And there was other little Bowsers as well happening in my life at the time. All these little things started creeping up. And um I contracted. I went, no, this is not safe. I don't want to do coaching. Fuck coaching. I really went off coaching. It was like, for those who, Brooke, people in my world, it was quite a like, oh shit. And in many ways, I think that's what I saw Theory of Her as was like an escape out of coaching. I was like, I'm gonna sell pleasure spray products, e-commerce, and then I don't have to face rejection of my work. It's interesting because it felt like selling a product would be less hurtful on my pride if I got rejected from that than my coaching, which feels like a very vulnerable thing. And maybe those of you who are in coaching can relate to this. And so I contracted. I went the complete opposite way with it. And there's a lot of merits to that decision because I learned a lot through that. It took me down the route of emotion, working with my emotions in this way. And I'm very, very grateful for it all. But then a month ago, I'm like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to fucking like claim what is this experience that I was claiming for myself that I contracted out of that I was like too scared to face at the time. I'm ready. I have more resources, more tools. Let's do it. Let's start exploring this. And so first what I started to do was just to make a promise to myself to just show up on social media. I was like, I'm gonna just show up on Instagram. I just picked one platform. I'm not gonna overcomplicate it. I'm just gonna do Instagram and I'm gonna show up. Um, and I kind of said like daily, but it wasn't like you have to do this daily. I don't tend to work well with stuff like that. It's more of like it's a loose promise. If you love yourself, you'll do it, you know? So it's like, okay, I do love myself. I'll do it. I'll do it. And so I started to just commit. And as I was doing that, the normal sort of Bowsers came up or resistance points. What do I talk about? I have nothing to say. What if people don't like this? What if it doesn't get engagement? What if it's confusing the algorithm? What if my hook is not? What's the hook? Like overthinking, right? What is overthinking? What kind of nervous system response is that? I started to overthink everything, but I was like, you know what? I made a promise. I'm gonna keep doing this. So I continued to post. And then as the pattern or as the reds showed up, so in my case, it was overthinking, maybe even procrastination, like, um, delaying everything to the bottom of the to-do list. So as that started to show up, and I started to notice that as the behaviors and actions of the part of myself that is in deep protection mode, trying to prevent me from experiencing pain and suffering. I sat with it. I sat with it, and instead of trying to run away from it or task myself out of it, distract myself. Oh, let me go clean the house now. Instead of trying to gaslight myself into it, into false positivity, like go, go. I sat with the terror, which wasn't terror at first. It was overwhelm, confusion, the surface level of it. And then as I sat with this, it became clear that underneath that is this deep like unworthiness that's just sitting there that has been there my whole life and most of us have that, many of us have that. It's okay, you don't need to not to only feel worthy, by the way, to make a lot of money and have a highly successful life, not necessary. You can have a lot of shadows and build a deeply fucking fulfilling and thriving and successful life for yourself. Confidence is one of those things I was talking about that makes your marketing and sales super magnetic. And confidence actually has nothing to do with your um, the way you look or how much money you have in your bank account or how many testimonials you have. Yes, these things can support a sense of confidence. But actually, what you'll see is there's a lot of people who don't have those things, and they're very confident people. and then they tend to get what they want in life because they're moving through life like that. And you're like, wait, you don't have merits, this legs to stand on. Why are you so confident? Like this shouldn't happen. Because when you start to move with yourself in this way, this is what happens. You unlock life force energy, and you also unlock this sense of almost deluded confidence that, like, yeah, this is me. Take me as I am. I'm not trying to fix every part of myself. I know I'm not perfect. I know there's parts of myself, but I stand behind what I'm saying here, or this is a hill here that I will die on. This is what I want. I know I'm claiming this. And then as you sit, as you begin to integrate those deeper emotions, as I began to sit with those deeper emotions of worthiness, something so fucking interesting happened to me. I um it got deeply threatened, I think is the word to use, that part of myself where I was that has run a lot of my life for a long time, where it's like we need approval from people to feel worthy. We need validation from people. And as I started to sit with the sensation of unworthiness and to really start to bring this part home to teach myself, it's really fucking safe actually to feel reject, to have rejection, to be judged, to be misunderstood. It's actually really safe. You're good, you're good, you're good. I had this crazy experience in my business where um, one night, I just like, it was almost like a blackout. I just had this part of me take over, and she just deleted 75% of all my content, my podcast, that I had like 100 episodes. She deleted YouTube videos from like 10 years. She just went through and deleted everything. It was like if the action of visibility was to show up and put myself out there, then the anti-action of that is what happened. And then when I recalibrated and found myself grounded again, I was like, oh, okay, let's undo that. That was a bit intense. And I realized I had lost most of that. There's some stuff that was recoverable, but it was really, really fucking weird experience to go through. And that brought with it a little bit of like mourning in a sense, where it was like I mean, that's a whole different story anyways, like how you can mourn your timeline and stuff. But more to the point, what this really showed me is that, as you're about to move into the next fucking level of this game, as you are equipping your avatar, Mario, with the skills and the aptitudes and the energy and the gems and the treasure chests needed to defeat Bowser or to face Bowser at the next level of the game, these little parts of you are going to act up. They're gonna come up. It's not gonna be a situation where you start to bring these parts home of yourself and it's just like, hey, all right, cool. Like, it's more gonna be a situation where you've had maybe a family argument and people aren't talking to each other and there's siblings in the room and you keep saying nasty things to each other and you're once and for all making a decision to work cohesively and to hear everyone and to form some kind of fucking democracy and to put yourself in the lead. If you've ever worked with dogs or like tried to be the pack of a dog, or maybe even children, like school children in a classroom, right? They, you have to assert your leadership through your actions, your behaviors, and your energy in order for those kids or those dogs to allow you to lead them and to respect them. And so asserting that is through actions and behaviors. And that is what's going to happen, is you're claiming a next level of visibility for yourself. You're going to be fucking tested. You're going to be tested with scenarios and situations that trigger this part of yourself that is like, it's not safe. What you're doing right now is not safe. You're going to feel alarm bells. Your nervous system, your subconscious is not, your brain is not going to be happy with you. So, what we want to do as we move into this phase of integrating this part of ourself is we want to identify the actions and the behaviors, and maybe even the words, the way you talk of the version of yourself who has the capacity to handle the level of visibility that you desire. So, not just the applause and the celebrations and the comments and but also the DM inbox blown up, the people messaging you things that are really fucking weird, some of it. People saying things and contradicting you on your posts. Maybe even writing fake things about you, not even true. As I said these things to you, people writing not so nice things to you, building an Instagram, this was a big fear of mine, building a business only on Facebook ads, using ads, making my revenue dependent on ads. Huge, huge like wound there of like, no, this is very dangerous, girl. And as you know, as I've been, this is actually something I'm working on in my life right now. Um, because it got super triggered when I did the whole low ticket stuff and I shifted a lot of my revenue onto the low ticket into Facebook ads, which I hadn't done since my academy training in that way. I had run ads in the last 6 years, but I wasn't financially dependent on those ads. And then all of a sudden, I became very dependent on my ad revenue. And yet, below the surface was this shadow part of me that was like, or it was literally a trauma that got stored in my body that was like, this is really fucking dangerous to depend on Facebook like this. Because, why? Because Facebook could take everything from me. And then, what does that mean? And then I'm a loser. I failed. So maybe visibility is you're going to grow a big audience, 100,000 followers, and then there's a voice inside telling you you're going to get things taken away. You're going to lose things. It's not safe for you. As you go to bring this part home, to reconcile this version of yourself, yes, it's about giving yourself the experience of the actions and the behaviors of the version of yourself that embodies what you want. So they have 200,000 followers. How does someone carry themselves? How does someone move about their day when they're setting a price and they're standing behind the price that they've set? How is the version of you who um, handles 10 times the number of revenue that you or clients that you're bringing into your business now? How do they behave? How do they think? How do they act? Not just in the love and light side of things, but also how do they behave? How do they think? How do they act? Who are they in the situations where the little Bowsers get triggered, where little Bowsers show up? So I'm today I want you to start identifying what those actions and behaviors are. And then I also I'm going to add to this exercise and I'll explain what that is in a minute. What I want us to do is I'm going to open the floor in a second and we'll do more of a powwow here together as much as we can on a Zoom webinar link. But Yeah, so all of that to say the story I was telling you guys about. So for me, what this has looked like has been, first of all, that was a very interesting experience to go through where as I'm locking into more visibility in my business, this part of me that I didn't even know was at this level took over and was like, no, no, no. Now, when that happens, and for sure, it's easier to say from the outside looking in than when you're in it. So for me, this is like I'm very fortunate I'm going through this workshop with you guys in many ways because I think if I wasn't, I would be blind to this because for me, in the experience of this, it has caused me to almost go like, no, fuck that. This is not safe. This desire is not safe. But that's actually a sign you're on the right path. That's the mistake is perceiving what is happening around you or those moments where it bubbles up to the surface and thinking, I'm doing something wrong. This isn't right. When really, that is the portal. That is a sign that you're definitely sniffing up the right fucking alley when you have strange little things show up like that. What we want to do in this moment is not back away and give up and go back to what things were, which is what part of me wants to do. Just be like, fuck it. Like, this is, I can't do this anymore. I'm off Instagram. It's literally a part of me that says that. And it's funny because there's also a part of me that says you shouldn't say shit like that, especially as you're running a workshop about visibility and showing up. And yeah, I know that it is in me and confiding how I have these thoughts about Instagram that makes you feel more fucking human about yourself and gives you more self-acceptance for the own story and the journey that you're in. This is what I mean when I was telling you guys that your shadows are one of the greatest magnetizers for people. So, learning how to own them and communicate them is a powerful, potent fucking way to not only activate buyers, but to also create authenticity and alignment with how you're showing up online instead of being this performance. What are the hooks? What I'm saying is like, what is the human experience here? And you connect with people like nervous system to nervous system when you're doing that. So tomorrow we're gonna put all of this together and you're gonna have a post, whether you want to do it written or a video, it doesn't really matter, but you'll have something to go out there, whether it's by email or on social media, that doesn't matter either. But I want to take you through like an exercise to show you how to actually use these points to bring business into, to bring clients in, to grow your visibility, to grow your brand. Are you guys going to go to 200,000 followers in the next 2 days, $1 million in sales? Probably not. We don't take it off the table either, but this is like you bite one elephant at a time. And if you're really fucking smart, you put yourself in rooms and environments and situations where people are holding themselves to that kind of standard, and it helps you to do the same for yourself. So let's talk about your shadows, and then let's go into how to start to formulate or how to start to express or share this part, how to start to own this part of yourself inside your actual sales and marketing. Okay? Because it's a portal. It's a big portal if you let it be. And the more triggering it feels, and the more intense it feels, the bigger the portal of growth there is. So Let's okay, so let's talk about some of the wounds, and I'll tell you guys a few examples on how to start to own this part of yourself, especially in your sales and marketing. We're doing it for sales and revenue, but more than that, we're doing it because this is part of how you stop disowning this part of yourself and accepting it. Your shadows are basically these protective um characters of your life, players in the game that are really there for your best interests. They're really not trying to harm you. And so the approach towards them shouldn't be one of fuck you, get the fuck. That's just rude, you know? It's like a small child coming to you and like genuinely wants to support the family and help out and contribute and makes a popsicle stick house and you're like, this is fucking stupid. And you put it in the garbage. And the child is like, oh, it's just unwarranted, you know? You just say, thank you. That's really nice. You don't need to exile that child. When you're dealing with teenagers and I was an unruly teen. I rebelled to get attention. And in that moment, I got attention, but it was punishment. It was not the kind of attention I wanted, but it was still attention, so it worked. But in that moment, had my parents just really sat with me and gone, hey, like, are you okay? What's happening, girl? You know, instead of punishing me, maybe things would have gone down differently with me in my life. Not that I regret anything, but certainly I fled home when I was really young. My parents didn't know where I was for many years. That created a lot of difficulty for everyone involved. And it's the same with your shadows. The more you punish yourself or them, the more they rebel. What they really just want is to be seen, accepted, heard, respected. And when that happens, they stop running and controlling your life in the way that they're doing right now. So part of this is that we use the opportunity of sales and marketing content, which is ties really well in with visibility, as a way to begin to bridge the self-acceptance within ourselves. So tell me what were the shadows or what was the shadow and what was it protecting you from that you identified yesterday? Haven't had a chance to look at the group yet. Um, Chasing and earning freedom. I just am. Yeah. In my practice, there is no performance. I just am. So let's explore that. There's performance in the social media stuff. What is that protecting you from? Performance. So tell me what your shadow or the wound was that you identified. And then tell me what it is protecting you from. Um, I'm going to use one of my, uh, yeah, the one I just experienced recently where I kind of like deleted everything. The emotion behind that, the sensation was really like frustration mixed with, I don't know what the sensation is of like, fuck you, you know? Giving up. Yeah. And that, when I really sit with that, and I have really sat with this, so it's why I can say this, but that is was really protecting me from being misunderstood and rejected at a really big scale. Abandoned, not chosen. Rebellion. Yeah. You see how I go through it like I'm you spot the pattern and you spot the maybe the action. So maybe the action is you're overthinking. Maybe the action is you're not sending the email. Maybe the action is you're deleting everything. Maybe the action is you wobbled on your price. So maybe that's how you come at it is you're spotting the patterns and the actions. And then once you spot that, then you take it somatically. You take it into the body and this is how you build like fluency. Somatic fluency is like, what was that feeling? What was that sensation? And really like gaining presence. Well, oh, it was like anger and frustration. Where is that in my body? Like in my head and also like my shoulders. A lot of the times if you have fear of being judged or rejected, you're gonna feel the sensation from the shadow, like around the throat, like your throat chakra becomes locked. I'll share with you guys an amazing resource from Teresa. She does throat activations to help you speak your fucking truth. She does these guided sessions, so I'll share that. Um, yeah. Starting and stopping. So we work at that. It's like I'm starting, I'm stopping. Confusion. Ah, I'm confused. Well, who said you needed to be have clarity to make money? Where's that written? But we tell ourselves that, don't we? The shadows don't, it's not that the shadows are true, by the way. Let's be very clear. Shadows are super fucking dramatic. It's like you're gonna be homeless and the whole world will hate you and you'll die. It's very dramatic. And they're not true, okay? Just because a part of you says it, what is true, what is false, right? It's all subjective anyway. So confusion, where's that? Maybe in my head. What is that protecting me from? Well, if I keep acting confused, then I don't have to then I don't have to claim all these eyeballs, this visibility, this growth, this leadership, this responsibility. And what does that mean? What does that mean? That means that then people like me. It means I don't stand out. Ah, okay. So, so you really like feel if you sit with your body, by the way, because we can over intellectualize living. Like I think it's what a lot of us do, is we over intellectualize what it means to be a fucking human and just live, you know? And so yes, we want to do the information, all of that, but we don't want to get stuck in information, okay? We want to take it into the experience so that we can ultimately have embodiment. Embodiment being you're not thinking about it, you don't have to force it, you don't have to try. You're just the kind of person who doesn't give a fuck if someone started a Reddit thread about you. You're just the kind of fucking person who doesn't give a shit if one of your clients is like, I'm not happy, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you care, but it's not, you don't go into an existential crisis, right? I'm not saying you become this hard stone person who walks through life with hubris and no fucks given. No. You do give fucks. You just don't collapse in the way that you would if it happened to you now. And if I say these scenarios out loud to you and there's any part of your body that goes, ooh, it shows that this is the way through for you, for your growth. through the shadows, through this part of yourself. How would you feel if someone took a screenshot of a post that you made and took it out of context? How would you feel if someone stole or plagiarized this program that you spent so long building and created a fake Instagram account? How would you feel if someone that once came at in one of your high ticket programs or whatever said, I want a refund? This is really bad. How would you feel if one of your posts on social or you go viral on social media and your inbox, your DM is a mess? There's like 300 messages in there. You can't even communicate to your friends. It's lost. How would you feel um having your parents and people around you telling you, "Oh, it must be so nice to have money while everyone's struggling. Lucky you." How does it feel having someone close to you, a friend, maybe someone you love, maybe people you're trying to date, go, "Oh, that's so cringe. This girl posts videos on, she's like a content creator, cringe." If you had a somatic response to any of that, and again, not cerebral, a somatic response, the body went, that's your sign right there. There's a huge portal. There's a part of you right now that is protecting you from uh, going into the next level of the game because the next level of the game comes with, yes, lots of expansion and growth and evolution. Of course, that's why we want it. That's why we're going. That's why we should keep going to the next level and not stagnate. But it also comes with shadows. It also comes with responsibility. It also comes with a duality of its own. And if Mario at the current level of the game is really fucking struggling to deal with the shadows at the current level of the game, he's not ready to face Bowser on level 2 or 3 or 4 or wherever you are. Can you see that? If he somehow managed to hack his way into level 2 without having the capacity and the skills and the know-how and the aptitudes to face Bowser at that level, he might have hacked his way into level 2, but he won't stay there for long. Yeah? Bowser's gonna knock him the fuck down another level. That's like the lotto winners. They win a lot of money. Internally, they haven't changed their sense of worth and what they deserve and their relationship with this money and the shadows around that. And so they will get rid of it really fast. It's not safe to keep that money around, right? So people that have the feast to famine or people that experience the big influxes and then there's nothing to show for it, it doesn't need, this doesn't need to be the only shadow or the only shadow that creates this outcome, but a shadow that could cause this is this, it's not safe to own things because then I lose. Ooh, loss. When I own things, I experience loss. So then what happens is you will front end the loss yourself. You create the loss yourself because then it's safer than to face the loss the other way. It's quite ironic how our shadows actually create the very thing that we're in opposition for. And in many ways, maybe it's doing that so that we're inviting ourselves to meet that part of ourselves every time and go, okay, this is an opportunity. Okay, no, we're not doing it this time. Okay, we'll do it next time. Next time. Next time. And we keep bringing them up and optimizing as an opportunity to optimize again and again because we keep wanting to bring ourselves to the next level. You have these desires, this level exists, this version of you playing at the level does exist. And the way that you move yourself into that is you become the embodiment. You become the version of yourself who is at that level. And that is not just about looking at, well, I'm someone who makes investments, and I'm someone who posts on social media, and I'm someone who doesn't check my comments 20 times a day. I can just post and let things be. It's also about looking at I'm someone who can hold family members coming to me asking for me for money, and I'm not going into a fucking spiral in my head of am I a good person? Am I not? Because I don't want to give them, oh my God, and then it's better if I just don't have money. And then people don't ask for it. And then if they don't ask for it, I don't have to face this whole fucking question mark thing happening within me. Criticism sparks panic as if a crime has been committed, so visibility becomes a dangerous feeling. Yeah, don't you fucking know it, eh? This is why this is your obvious fucking evolution to be so visible. Especially those of you who have had like experiences that really fucking created this fear. Because again, as I said, all of us are born with a fear, a natural fear of visibility, because the reptilian brain does not think it's safe for you to stand out. So we're all born with that. And then if you go and add a fucking witch hunt online where you got canceled or parents that bullied you or someone in school that bullied you, like that shit is almost your dharma now. It's like you got, you were initiated, that fear was initiated into your shadows because it's a fucking, it's what you're claiming. And so the meaning is, um, if people disagree with me online and they reject me online, then it means what? Answer that. Then it means what? Abdomen sensation with this energy. Cut the shit. I'm done. Give me the truth about making money online, not theory. Tell me the truth so I can make money without burning out and get the hell out. I suffered enough. Tell me the minimum effort. Like I did the work and for what kind of vibe? Um, okay, wait, hold on. I'm not sure if I'm understanding this one in context properly. So the shadow is like frustration and a resistance to burnout. So you're burnt out, you're frustrated. Okay, so let's explore this. So, what happens if you don't make money? What happens if you don't make money? Resentment. Yeah. Okay, so explore what is the meaning if you don't make money. You don't make money. What is the meaning of never figuring out how to not make money from burnout? What is the meaning you've ascribed from that? No re Oh, okay. I see your earlier comment. Losing connection. Yeah, that's really important to you, Jessica. Connection. What does it mean when you're losing connection? Burnout with no reward came to mind. That's what's protecting me from burnout with no reward. Well, I don't think that's what it's protecting you from because that's what you're experiencing, right? So it's like if it sounds like you're experiencing burnout without reward. like you're burnt out and you're not feeling very rewarded from it. So that's protecting you from something. What is it protecting you from? So what does it mean um, when you stop burning out? Start from there. Start to explore. Use that question. What is the meaning I've created of this? Or what does it mean if this happened? So the thing that you are in fight, flight, fawn, freeze over, what does it mean? If it did happen, or what is the meaning that you've ascribed to this? If I have somebody who, oh, with sales, we do this all the time with launches, right? What is the meaning? Well, I have shitty sales. I didn't get the launch numbers that I wanted to get from this experience. Disappointed, frustrated, second guessing, doubting. And especially if this is a pattern that you've experienced before, maybe you're launching things and then you overthink and then you panic and you paralyze and then the numbers on the back are shit and it's just like it's just a pattern. You see it again and again. So it's like, okay, well, those surface level emotions and those behaviors of being paralyzed, classic nervous system response, being paralyzed or disassociating, going into apathy with it, are protecting me. They're protecting me. That's the part, guys, where I'm saying it's not your procrastination, your paralysis, your flight. That's not the problem. It's not a problem. It's a healthy fucking way for your nervous system to respond to something it has deemed as extremely dangerous. So when you start to shift your perspective to stop seeing it as the burnout is the problem, you go, the burnout is helping me. Huh. That's a real fucking pattern interrupt in the brain because now you got to really look upside down and go, wait, hold on. What is it protecting me from? And that is something you sit with yourself and you ask yourself somatically. You locate the burnout in the body, maybe the frustration or other sensations, and then you ask yourself, what are you protecting me from? And maybe when you do that, I'm going to put words in your mouth here because I'm not in your position, but maybe as you do that, what comes through is I'm protecting you from, yeah, maybe it is rejection. What does it mean if we stop burning out for money? It means that we don't have money. It means we go broke. And what does that mean? That means we have nowhere to live and we are losers. Okay, we're losers. Interesting. Maybe that's where that maybe that's what it is. I'm a loser. And so the burnout keeps you busy and distracted from the fact that deep down within you think you're a fucking loser. Putting words in your mouth here. It may not be that for you. It might be something else. So you ask, you explore, you use this. What is the meaning? Well, what does this mean? And you check with yourself somatically, and then you understand that your reticular activating system is also going to work after you ask this. So sometimes it drops really clear. And then sometimes it's as you go about the rest of your day, and you're like, oh, that's what it's protecting me from. This is what it's doing. Okay. And again, you you look at really successful artists and people out there who are having great fucking lives. It's not that they don't have these parts of themselves. It's not that they don't have insecurities. It's not that they don't have unworthiness. No, we all have duality within us. We don't want to get rid of sadness or grief or heartbreak. That would diminish the human experience on such a dramatic level. We're here to break up the monotony of eternity through the human experience, and part of that is to experience the spectrum. So, of course, successful people that you aspire to have insecurities and senses of unworthiness, but with where they are showing up in the things, their art maybe, or the body of work that they're showing up, they have worked through a level of having enough confidence in that space at the level that they're at, where they can hold themselves and any firing line and go, yeah, this is who I am. And there's the art behind that level of confidence, where it's just kind of like confidence is the magic of this reality in many ways. Because if you can walk through a room confident in yourself, like people are gonna want to buy from you and they're not even gonna know what you're fucking selling. Because it's the thing we all want, that we're all fucking chasing, that we're all pulling stones apart, trying to figure out where's my fucking confidence? Is it in my bank account? Is it in my body weight? Is it in this? It's not. It's something internal, but it really grows uh, organically and at a next level when it's self-sourced in the way that can only be done when you're meeting these parts of yourself and you're saying, it's okay. Like, I accept you. And you start to move like as this whole thing instead of all these different personalities going in different directions. And so, what you're going to start to do today, okay? So, your exercise today is to identify the actions and the behaviors of the version of you. So, yesterday I asked you to identify the actions and the patterns of the shadow. And then identify what is it protecting you from. Maybe you got answers from that yesterday. Maybe today has flushed that out a little bit more for you. Maybe it'll come in the next few days. That's fine too. Today, what I want you to do is to identify the actions and behaviors of the version of yourself who is in the embodiment of this. They're not trying, they're not, it's not, it's a state of being, okay? Just see if you can outline and just put a focus point on that. And you don't have to overthink this too much, okay? But what I also want you to do today is to then start to dig into like the meaning. What does it mean if this launch doesn't work? What does it mean if your Instagram doesn't grow? What does it mean if people don't like your content? What does it mean if this? And start to go down that rabbit hole. That is going to help you to really identify the underlying emotion or shadow or wound that is running the show. That your nervous system has locked up and said, this is not safe. And the way to step into embodiment is to teach ourselves how to feel safe with that emotion in the body, not by getting rid of it, not by saying I can't be successful until I'm completely in clarity all the time and feel totally fucking worthy. No, this is going to be a long fucking trip. The way to clarity is through action, right? And in the same way that the way to worthiness is to just self-accept the shit that isn't fucking perfect on paper. So you're going to dig into that. And then tomorrow, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to use that, the meaning and the wounds and the patterns and how to we're going to use that as a way to as an opportunity for you to self-express and accept these parts of yourself, and you can choose to use that as content in your whatever platforms feels best for you, and that's three birds with one stone. but also it will just be a space for you to come to this space of realization, and you can share it in the group as well. Um, Claiming things out loud to other people that are holding themselves to similar standards is one of the most powerful forms of alchemy that there is on this planet. Like we are social creatures. So the brain gets on board with things really fast when we're claiming them to other people or saying it to other people. It does things to our brain. So today, that is your homework in the group. We're going to stick to the group. I was going to start a WhatsApp, but honestly, we're already day two. It was too wishful thinking of me to get everyone shifted across Zooms. But going forward, that's been a big insight for me with my workshops is that I do miss having the conversational. So, anyways, it is what it is with Spellcrafter. We'll keep this link, we'll keep the Facebook group. Um, so go in the group, post your task for today, and then you'll go in the draw to win this beautiful grimoire. And I might even put a ritual in there for you. One of my favorite rituals. I might even write in it, get it shipped to me first. We'll see. So let me go through your questions here. Protection from the hustle and grind comes to mind. Protection from a job I don't want. In a way, the health condition I'm temporarily experiencing forces me to separate time from money. I will tell you, your health condition is probably directly linked to whatever the fuck is happening under the surface here. I'm not a doctor, so don't quote me on this, but I have a strong fucking suspicion that most medical issues are psychosomatic, emotions stored in the body. My ex just started to see a therapist 2 weeks ago. He has had chronic fucking back pain his whole entire life, and it is now just starting to move. And nothing, he's done surgeries, nothing was working. Just feeling emotions that he had never allowed himself to feel before in his life. Yeah, the body gets really sick when it does that. And actually, there's a lot of studies. And I'm not saying that's your situation. I'm not a doctor. But what I am saying here is that what you're protecting yourself from is not, it's an emotion. You're not protecting yourself from hustle and grind. No. You're protecting yourself. That's the surface level material manifestation of the shadow, hustle and grind. Okay? It's not, you're not protecting, your shadow isn't protecting you from losing your Facebook account. It's protecting you from experiencing the total fucking devastating loss and sense of despair that comes when the Facebook ad account gets taken. That's what it's protecting you from. It's not protecting you from your job or a boss or clients that you don't like. It's protecting you from um, maybe putting yourself out there and claiming something that you really want and then not getting it and the fucking rejection that comes on the back of that, of like, what the fuck? That's what it's protecting you from. So, better to keep you in a job with clients that you don't fucking like that much because it matches your own internal tolerance of what you think is acceptable, what you deserve in this reality. It matches the level of unworthiness that that you are calibrated to internally. And so if you let those things go, the job, and you're like, I'm worthy. I'm gonna build something for myself. I'm gonna feel good. I'm gonna do work that feels meaningful. And you start to chase that and you claim that and it doesn't fucking work or go the way that you thought. That's what you're protecting yourself from. Whatever that sensation is. That's what you're protecting you from. That's what you're running away from. So when we're talking about bringing the shadows home, what we're saying is that mm, it's protecting you by keeping you away from feeling something, and the keeping you away from feeling something ironically creates the very fucking feeling you're trying to run away from. And so the way through to the next level is for you to feel the fucking thing you're trying to avoid feeling. So you can show yourself it's really fucking safe to do that. Now, some of you have deep fucking traumas, highly traumatic shit that has happened to you throughout your life. And sometimes when we go to feel these emotions that have been locked in the body, we got to approach it very gently and gingerly. And we got to, use grounding tools, so meditation, your fucking workouts, spending time outdoors. I have a toolbox that I can go to when I lose my grounding, right? Sometimes the emotion is so raw and so um, suppressed that it will feel difficult to even touch it. And as you begin to touch it, your your shadow is going to become very protective of it. And so it might flare up. Like I had a flare up, massive fucking flare up. That's okay. That's okay. You keep going. That's that moment was when I was like, fuck this, fuck that. But then I was doing Spellcrafter and I was like, oh, shit, I guess I gotta fucking this is why I run workshops around shit that I want to fucking up level in my life because the workshops literally hold me to the fucking work. Because if I didn't have Spellcrafter, I totally would have contracted 100% in that experience and been like, this is really not safe. Let's keep playing at this level. We know this level. We know the Bowser here. Let's keep doing that. That's the moment you keep going. And it will flare up. And if it's deeply traumatic shit that you're working with, like you can't even think about that stuff without breaking down or ruining your day, you're gonna have to recognize this is not something that's gonna happen overnight, but it's the topic of how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time. Every time you allow yourself to just feel that sensation a little bit and get closer to home with it, teach your nervous system it's safer. There is a compounding effect. It does get easier and easier. All of that to say, don't push yourself into a space of, where you're frying yourself completely. And only you will be able to discern where that is for you. But it's about not running away from this thing that you're currently running away from. For me, it's like unworthiness, right? It's like I don't know how to live with the emotion of like you're unworthy. You're a nobody. Nobody wants you. Nobody rejects you. So the moment I started feeling that as a child, I used behaviors and actions to get attention on me. Humor, rebelling, right? These were, and on surface level, it's like, why are you rebelling? You're getting punished. It's not working. Kind of like burnout. Why are you burning out? Why are you doing this to yourself? That doesn't sound like protection, but it is protection. It was keeping attention on me. Maybe not the right kind of attention, but it was keeping attention on me, which was preventing me from facing the sensation of unworthiness and rejection and abandonment. But actually, the irony is that in rebelling, which wasn't the greatest form of attention, I felt more unworthy because I got punishment, I got disapproval, I got judgment. It like exacerbated the original wound. It made my shadow believe even more this is really not safe. It fueled the initial shadow. Can you see that? So your burnout is protecting you from something. And I know that sounds fucked up because you're like, this doesn't feel very protective energy to me. I feel burnt out. I feel overwhelmed. I'm tired. I'm fucking confused. And that's what I'm inviting you to do is to do the 180. You got to pattern interrupt that and stop looking at it like it's this thing against you or a problem. It's a symptom of something much deeper. And so long as you try to apply strategies to solve for burnout, it's kind of like the teenager rebelling, right? Okay, you're going to put a curfew on the teenager, maybe send them to army school. You're addressing the symptom, right? The rebellion was a symptom of unworthiness, rejection, abandonment. And that doesn't go away just because you put someone in army camp or you put a curfew on them. In fact, it might make it worse. They might feel even more abandoned that you left them at army camp. In the same way that you telling yourself, I'm going to roll out these strategies and bring new people into my business, and that will fix my burnout, is not actually going to do anything. Not meaningful, anyways. It's not going to create any meaningful shift in your business or your revenues or your life in the way that you think it is, because it's a symptom. You're keeping the burnout going because it's preventing you from feeling something else. And until you go and face that feeling and sit with it and become really good fucking friends with it, it's going to continue to run the show. It's going to keep running the show. And you won't be able to go to the next level of the game because it won't have the capacity. You have a internal system within you called a parasympathetic nervous system and a nervous system that prevents you from moving into scenarios that you have deemed as highly fucking dangerous to this nervous system of yours. And it will keep suppressing, blocking, resisting anything that smells like this wound because it's protecting you, because it fucking loves you so much. But you're a creative being. You want to evolve. You're an entrepreneur. You want to evolve. You want to grow. Can't fucking keep me down, right? So we got a conflict here happening. We got one part of you that's like, I want to be an influencer. I want to fucking put an offer out and it sells out. But then they can't handle the heat that comes with the person who's operating at that level, who's putting an offer out and it sells out right away. How they're moving, what they're experiencing, the duality of that, right? In order for you to become the kind of person who can sell out an offer, you must be the kind of person who can also fucking handle having zero sales and make zero meaning out of that experience. And truth be told, most of you on this call, that's not what's happening at all. You get zero sales, and there's a lot of meaning that you're creating behind it. And all of that meaning, if you follow it down the rabbit hole, it'll take you to this emotion, this sensation, sometimes multiple emotions, right? That you're in avoidance of. The one who sells out an offer with one post is the one who can make a post and make zero sales and move the fuck on. Because there's no underlying shadow that is saying that was really dangerous what you just did there. Let's not do that again. They just make a post, it didn't sell. They learn, they take the data and they go again. The shadow part of them saying that's really dangerous, you got no one interacting with you there, is not the one running the show. So therefore, they're the ones who can handle, who are becoming the identity. Is not just I am the one, I made a post and I sold everything online. It's also I made a post and no one liked and I didn't, meh, was fine. I totally know this is all working out for me. What's one post? What's one sale? What's one offer? I can create a shit ton of fucking offers. We go again. Do you see? Embodiment is, yes, love, light, and shadows, and the qualities of leadership and responsibilities and confidence, but it's also about embodying the ability to be misunderstood. to question people's motives. Are they with me? Do they want money or do they genuinely like me? Can I depend on people? If I'm the one doing everything, holding everything up, I still feel like I can depend and ask for help. They're balancing these things. So it's about extroverting. First of all, it's about going to meet that part of yourself right now and saying, "Hey, I see you. I accept you. I'm here." This kind of work will change your whole fucking life when you can integrate your shadows in this way. And this is lifelong work that you should be continuing to do. It would be such a great fucking planet if everyone took a time to look at their shadows and how it's affecting their behaviors and actions. Oh, I have a shadow of unworthiness. And so you should know before we get into a relationship with me that sometimes I will project that out and I will try to make other people feel like they're not good enough because I don't feel like I'm good enough. Oh, that's really fucking great to know. How cool would the world be if we all had this kind of fluency around who we are as individuals? And so, by the way, on the back of Spellcrafter, I'm going to be opening a 2-month container called Flow Protocols, where we're going to be going deep into this work because this is not something that you do in 3 days. You can set things into motion in 3 days, but bringing that shadow part of yourself home, that's not something that happens overnight. And it's very hard to do in your bubble, in your own world, as I just explained with Spellcrafter, how I almost, yeah, fell back into the shadow. So for today, homework, you're going to post in the group your actions and behaviors of the ones who has become. So maybe look at the actions and behaviors now that you're like, oh, this is what I'm doing, and then this is the version of me, what they're doing. And then I want you to explore the meaning. Go the meaning. So I want you to share like you've identified the shadow, you've identified the how it's protecting you, and now I want you to tell me why. What is the meaning? Why does it feel like it needs to protect you? And that's going to help you to uncover and create even more, discernment in this area. So many strikeouts, psychosomatic. I used to be on a cane for some years, healed it off with meditation. Yeah, man, this is crazy how the body holds memory that way. Because if you think about it, if the parasympathetic nervous system is depressing or suppressing an emotion from being felt in the nervous system, let's say it's grief or heartbreak. Grief is so intense, and you have this, it's not that it just got rid of it. It suppressed the emotion in your system. It didn't just go, oh, go out. No. It's still there. The grief is still there. The heartbreak is still there. The loneliness is still there. And your body is having to hold, like if you've ever been angry at somebody. For 5 years of my life, I was angry at my dad. I didn't speak to him. And I was waiting for him to apologize, to say, I fucked up, I'm sorry. And after 5 years, I realized I'm never going to get an apology from this man. It's just not in his nature. So I can either hold on to this and I'll never get an apology. But what I also realized is like it was taking up life force energy from me, the anger. I could literally feel it draining me. That's what emotions do in the body. Emotional reds are not supposed to be states that we live in over long periods of time. They really, really impact the nervous system and the body physically and your lifespan, right? So when you start to work with this part of yourself, these emotions that you're in avoidance of, and you start to release it through the nervous system, you feel it out, um, yeah, you regain like this sense of vitality, not just physically, but also creatively, like life force. What I will say is that right before I had that whole fucking blackout with deleting everything on my social media, which literally happened 4 days ago, right as we were going into Spellcrafter. Prior to that, I was on a fucking roll with my content and I wasn't forcing it. It was like I had so much creative energy. I was like, I need to post. I need to post. I need to post. I need to post. It needs to get out here. There has to be an outlet. And that was me doing this work. That was unlocking all of this creative energy. And then it was like I started to reach thresholds beyond. I was starting to step into level two, and my wound got highly triggered. And it's like, mm-mm-mm. And I just had a moment, and it's okay. And I think I was so ashamed of that. I was like, that's not okay, Kat. You're not allowed to have a moment. You're not allowed to be a fucking human. You're only supposed to be hyper successful, entrepreneur who always knows which way is north and which way is south at any given fucking time. Otherwise, you don't deserve a business. You don't deserve success. As you're listening to me, you're probably, well, that's ludicrous, but that's what you're fucking saying to yourself. Be honest. Yeah. And so, the best thing I can do as a mentor, to be honest, is to be really fucking honest about my experience because that's the real lesson. Is like saying, "Oh my God, I'm doing this work on this level, and this is what's been happening, and this is how I'm moving through it." Instead of me saying, "I'm not allowed to share that part. Let me hide that," and then you think you're having a fucked up or you're doing shit wrong because things bubble up to the surface for you, like they did for me. It's important for me to own that part of my own experience because it makes me more competent. And it's a way for me to, if I created shame around that experience, now I'm adding a whole fucking layer to that wound. So it's a way for me, beyond whether I'm a mentor or coach or not, it's a way for me to bring acceptance to this part of myself to say, it's okay. I see you. I see how you reacted there. Whoa, you got really fucking scared there. Wow, I get it. That's really fucking scary. I'd be scared too. I'd be shitting bricks too. It's fine. We move forward. We don't, it's fine. It's okay. That's what the rebellious teenager needs to fucking hear. That you're in their corner, not chastising them and punishing them, and they're gonna test you as you start to go close to them like that. So there's parts of yourself that you're hiding too. These shadows. I want to be liked. I want to be recognized. I want to be valued. Well, guess what? Your customers and your audience, they're thinking the same fucking shit. And the most liberating thing you're going to do about your visibility, it's not about being online every day and sharing all the fucking warts and everything that's happening in your life. If that's what you want to do, go for it. If you want to do clickbait, rage bait, go for it. I don't care. That's fine too. That's one way to build visibility. But you don't have to take it to that level. This is not about your entire laundry is out for everyone to see. It's more about when I can talk about these parts of myself, then I am in accept or I am forming a bridge of acceptance towards myself. And what you'll find is that's actually two birds with one stone. As you do that, it's your nervous system begins to speak to their nervous system, other people's nervous systems, and they see themselves and they relate and it connects on a whole different level. Yeah. Okay, cool. So that is today's call. Sorry, I went way over. Appreciate your time, guys. We will see each other. So post in the group. We're still going to do the Facebook group. I will be in there today. Looking forward to seeing your stuff in there. And then I'll see you guys tomorrow. Awesome. See ya. Bye.